throughout the South American country as soccer's grandest spectacle kicked off today. Protesters erupted on a protest erupted on the streets of Brazil, and one of the biggest unanswered questions as the tournament got underway is whether the host nation is fully prepared. We're going to start with some analysis of the tournament with Mike Bako, who is here in our New York studio, and he's a sports editor with DailyNational.com. Mike, hey, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Of course, the whole world now, eyes have turned to Brazil. There's been a lot of anticipation as well as a lot of controversy, but let's move past that and let's talk about the sports. So of course, Brazil is considered a favorite to win the whole thing, right?
Brazil is a favorite to win the whole thing. They got off to a little bit of a rough start. They played the first match today. 30 minutes into the match, they scored on themselves. An own goal is what it's called. So certainly with everything that's going on off of the pitch, having something like that happen and really sink the spirits of Brazil. But you mentioned some of the best players in the world. Brazil has one of the best players in the world. Neymar came back, 2 goals. Brazil ended up winning 3-1. So they're off to a good start on the field.
That probably surprised them a bit. I think they thought they were going to cruise right through
Absolutely. They thought Croatia is a good team, but you just figured with the home nation pride, getting out there and being down 1-0, not the way that they wanted to start, but they ended the way that they wanted to.
All right, let's talk about a few other teams to watch over the course of these next 30 days.
I think when you look at some of the powerhouse teams, Brazil has a great shot to win on their home soil. When you look around, you look at some of the main star players. Cristiano Ronaldo with Portugal, the best player in the world. He recently won the award for 2014 Player of the Year. So he's someone who all eyes are on him. He's been in this tournament a few times, not advanced very far. And if you look at one of the real favorites, Argentina, Lionel Messi, he has not gotten very far in this tournament. So those are the 2 players that are the best in the world, but they also have the biggest spotlight on them, and it remains to be seen whether they could rise to the occasion.
Are there any countries, any teams that might be dark horses, if you will, that people maybe are not paying a whole lot of attention to, but might sneak right on through?
I think if you look at a team like Ghana, who had a very good showing, a surprising showing in 2010, that's what this tournament is about. You don't necessarily go in and win it the first year that you're good. You have to go in, get a little bit of the international experience, build yourself as a team, and that's what Ghana did. I don't think they're going to make it to the finals, but I think I would be unsurprised if they made it deep into the grouping.
Any other country to keep our eyes on that might not be getting all the headlines?
I think the country that's not getting the headlines for what they're doing on the field is the U.S.
I was wondering if
their coach not bringing over Landon Donovan, Mr. USA, and that really putting the focus on the coaching decisions, not what they're doing on the field. They're in the grouping with Ghana. They're in a tough grouping. If they're able to get past that grouping, get a couple wins under their belt, I think that confidence may propel them further in the tournament than a lot of people think.
You think so? In spite of the fact, didn't I hear in the news that the coach didn't really give the team much chance?
I think that's tempering expectations. He knows that he's going to be there for a few years, so I think a lot of emphasis was put on this decision not to have Donovan on the team because he wants to make it his team. This team is built in his model. The way that they want to play is his style. It's an international style. So I think that if they could break through and get past this grouping, I think that they could have a good shot of advancing.
You know what's amazing is the popularity of what the rest of the world calls football.
Absolutely.
That we call soccer. Can you sort of evaluate how soccer is coming, or football in the U.S. in terms of popularity?
I think all you have to do is look at the TV ratings for English Premier League, for the World Cup, for the rights that ESPN and in the next World Cup, Fox is paying multiple billions of dollars to televise this in the United States. That's unheard of 10, 15 years ago. So you could just see it in the amount of money that's being paid for the TV rights. I think everyone played soccer growing up, and I think that generation of people that played soccer just for fun are now growing into the fans, and they're taking fans away from sports like baseball and basketball.
So interesting. Let's talk a little bit about tomorrow's match. It's Mexico versus Cameroon. What are your predictions there?
I think Cameroon has a pretty good team, but I think Mexico really needs to have a good showing in this first game to propel themselves moving forward. They're in a tough grouping as well, so I think Mexico has a slight edge.
All right, and it just gets more and more exciting as it goes along. You know what I'm disappointed about, Mike?
What's that?
The vuvuzelas were banned this time.
They were banned. The little shakers, the official noisemaker were banned. I think South Africa ruined it for the rest of the nations hosting the World Cup afterwards.
Can you explain? It seems to me, explain the announcers of soccer, because they get so excited, and and when they score, oh my gosh!
If you watch a soccer game, there are few moments of true excitement. So if a game is 2-1, those are the times that not only the players are shining, but the announcers. Those are the times that goal and those sorts of catchphrases really carry your personality. So I think those are the reasons why they're outsized personalities. That's when they get to shine those few moments.
Am I correct that Pele, the famed all-time great soccer player, is going to be there serving as an ambassador?
Pele is going to serve as an ambassador. Somewhat surprising considering that a lot of people over the last few years have somewhat turned on him. He's a great ambassador for football, but people were upset with him. The Brazilian people were upset with him for not coming to some of the protests in 2013. In the lead-up, he kind of saw the light and he accepted the criticism. He's even criticizing some of these games, the overspending on stadiums and the infrastructure that was not built. But he is the grand ambassador. If you ask anyone on the street, name yourself a football or a soccer player, Pele forever will be the name that they're going to have.
Absolutely, Pele, and then you got to also add David Beckham to that list too, coming close behind. Okay, I'm going to put you out on a limb. It's just day one. We got another 30 days to go, 29 days. Who do you think might take it off?
I think Lionel Messi and Argentina are going to be the ones hosting the gold trophy.
All right, I'm going to write that down, Mike, and then at the end of the month, we'll see if you're right.
Absolutely.
All right, Mike Bako, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. Well, Arise News correspondent Roni Corvello reports